Hey everybody, it's Dave Juno, the Meniere's Disease Warrior. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. So, you know how I got that video pinned on the top, start of my journey? I thought I would redo that because I was watching it the other day and I was like, ugh, it's cringe, because it was my first video that I had done for a YouTube channel. So I was probably nervous, wasn't as relaxed. So I thought I'd do it all over again. And it's pretty much the same story, but I figured I'd do it again. So the start of my journey, or Meniere's, when Meniere started. So Meniere started for me in 2014, Christmas Eve, as a matter of fact. I was singing in the choir, and at the 4 o'clock mass, I came back home to eat because I had to go back for the 7, where I was singing again and had solo, but I didn't quite make it because what had happened is when I got home, I sat down. I remember I was watching football with my brother-in-law. I sat down and I'm like, whoa, something doesn't feel right. And all of a sudden the room started spinning, the tinnitus amped up, my ears got full. I couldn't walk. I was panicking, and then the vomiting started. All these things happened. So my sister-in-law was a nurse, said, it's probably a virus. Let's get him to bed, blah, 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 blah. I'm sweating profusely at this point. I mean, the sweat is just pouring off of me. So I go to bed. Wake up a couple hours later, felt okay. Not great, but okay. Went back to bed, woke up, went to my brother's for Christmas, felt okay. Not real well. Felt like I had like a hangover. So what did I do? I went to my brother's, had a fun time. Next day I felt fine. A week later, I go to Virginia to bring my son to Fort Lee for his AIT training. Was fine. Drove down fine. Was down there for a couple of days. Was down there for 4 days. The second day, it had happened again. Vertigo. Bad. I spent the day in the hotel. But the next day I felt fine. Did some sightseeing, whatever, saw some friends, whatever I had to do down there. Came home. A couple of days after I came home, it happened again. So my wife takes me to the doctor. Or takes me to urgent care. They tell me it's vertigo. There's nothing they can do. Okay. So a couple of weeks later, it happens again. This time my wife is like, no, we're going to see a doctor, blah, 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 blah. So he's testing, doing the normal testings that doctors would do. And he said it was BPPV, benign postural vertigo, whatever it is. I can't ever say the words. So he gave me a bottle of meclizine. I was like, okay. So I would take the meclizine whenever I got dizzy, and then realized it was over the counter, so I could buy it over the counter. So I was taking it, whenever I get dizzy. Well, 2016 came, I didn't feel dizzy anymore. I didn't have anything. So I was like, oh, maybe the crystals went back into position and I'm fine. About a year later, year and a half, 2017, in the middle of the summer, it happened again. Well, I just finished mowing the lawn. My neighbor's son-in-law came over and wanted to borrow some fishing equipment. Sure, went and got him whatever he wanted. And I barely made it in the house before I threw up. I was sweating. I was all over the place. It was awful. So, I did have some meclizine. I took a meclizine. I laid down. It was awful. So my wife's like, we're going back to the doctors on Monday. Go back to the doctors. Doctor says, I don't know what it could be. It could be anything at this point, but I want you to see an ENT. I want you to see this ENT and see what he says. Take the meclizine, and I don't want you working for 2 weeks. Okay, no problem. I had plenty of vacation time, like almost 8 weeks vacation. Called my boss, said, hey, I'm going to be out the next 2 weeks. He was like, okay, yeah, no problem. You get the time. Don't worry about it. Explain to him what was going on. And that's the biggest thing you got to do is you got to explain what's going on with your work. Because if you don't tell them and you keep do stuff like this, they're going to think you're playing hockey or whatever. So I went to that ENT. He thought I was nuts. called my primary care. He said, I want you to see somebody else. So I saw another doctor. He did an MRI, no other testing, and said I had Meniere's disease. As a bottle of Klonopin, enjoy your life. Low salt diet, which I've been doing anyways. So, fine. I can't. And then a couple of months went by. I said, I can't live like this. You know, I was calling out sick all the time, calling out sick at work or leaving work early. I couldn't do it. So, that doctor sent me to Dr. Gasek, who Dr. Gasek was world-renowned researcher of Meniere's. He always thought of it as being a virus. So we tried 2 different antivirals. It didn't help me at all. Prednisone, a series of prednisone helped temporarily. So then the next thing was steroid shot in the ear. Now, he didn't want me working either, so he's got me out now. Now I'm on short-term disability. So we did the steroid shot. That didn't help. That helped, but not a lot. Then we tried gentamicin. That 5 shots of gentamicin, 5 times. Didn't work. I was still getting these attacks. It was awful. So he sends me to the doctor I see now, Dr. Schneider, who Dr. Gasek, being who he was, researcher, but a very honest doctor, said, hey, this is more than I can handle. I want you to see Dr. Schneider. He's a head surgeon. He might be able to tell more than I can. All right. So I see Dr. Schneider. He does, now this guy is good. He does all the tests. Econ, audio, everything. Balance test, you name it, VNG, every test you could possibly do that would happen to have Meniere's. In a CAT scan. He did the CAT scan. He goes, okay, we'll do a labradectomy. This would help you. So let's do the labradectomy in your left ear, because that ear's dead anyways. You've got barely any hearing in it. Let's do the labradectomy. Other than that, we do the shunt surgery. I said, okay, fine. So we did the labradectomy. Went through all the vestibular rehab afterwards. Did great. Was good for about a year. Awesome. No problem. Year later, I'm thinking about going back to work. I call my manager, my old manager, and I said, hey, I think I might be able to come back. He goes, oh, thank God, that would be great if you could come back. We really need help, because they had laid off too many people. And now they're looking for people. And I'm like, well, I can see the doctor in another 2 months. I'll let you know. So if he gives you okay, then I'll come back. And he was fine. That'd be great. Call me when you get some news. So hang up the phone with him. Like a month, almost month and a half later, it starts again. I'm like, holy crap. And it's with this ear, because this one's gone. I'm getting fullness, really bad tinnitus. So the vertigo starts. I see Dr. Schneider. And like I said before in other videos, I just write everything in the journal. I know some doctors they think they know more than everybody else and don't want you telling them how you feel. So I told him, the vertigo's back, this ear's full, I'm getting the tinnitus, I think I might have gone bilateral, do all the tests again. You know what, Dave? You're bilateral. You can never go back to work. Okay. So we're monitoring it right now because I can still hear not too bad out of it. I probably got 60% hearing in it. So we're still monitoring, trying to preserve it with the tubes. I have ear tubes in here. So far, so good. We are talking about sac decompression surgery. I will see him in December for that. But, going bilateral is very rare. And I knew that going into the surgery that it was rare that it would happen. So I gambled. And of course, when I gamble, I lose. So I'm about to kill these 2 dogs. So I did the, I knew there was a chance I could go bilateral. Now, depending upon who you talk to, it's a 80% to 20% chance you go bilateral. But if you look it up, it's actually less. It's 11 to 15% that you will go bilateral. So I'm one of the 11 to 15% that went bilateral. But not everybody goes bilateral. So don't think that. So we go on from there. And that's why I have this channel. This channel is to help people, inspire people, put people at ease. That's what it's here for, folks. And at this note, I'm going to end it. And I will talk to you all soon. Have a great day. Take care and take care of each other. Bye.